Good evening, everyone. Seeing our cohort sitting here tonight graduating comes as a little bit of a shock. I say this as it seems like only yesterday we were all together in a similar setting. It was Year 7 and, like many, my first day at St Leonard's. We were in a hot, unrenovated Kevin Wood Centre with blazers 3 sizes too big. There were nerves, anticipation, worry, and as if we weren't uncomfortable enough, Mr. Davis had decided to talk about the 7 types of love. Now, love to a Year 7 is perhaps the most awkward thing you could talk about. I remember squirming in my seat as Mr. Davis told us that statistically, 8 of us would find our future husband or wife in our cohort. Whether or not he got that right, I will leave up to you, because love is not what I'm here to talk about. What I do, however, want to talk about tonight is vulnerability. In preparing for this, I watched a lot of graduation speeches. I heard people thank their friends, their family, talk about how tough it was during COVID and how brave they were to overcome the unique challenges facing their year level, such as homework or due dates. But eventually I was brought back to the St Leonard's graduation speech of 2019. It was the college captains that year, Gab Strip and Helen Zhang, who stood out to me, as the first thing they talked of were the vulnerabilities that they held coming into St Leonard's. They were completely open, speaking of how their vulnerabilities were accepted, but also celebrated as a way to foster a more welcoming community. I, however, cannot stand up here tonight and bang on about other people's vulnerabilities without being vulnerable myself. It hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows for me at St Leonard's, in particular Year 8, where I found myself on the side of South Road before school one morning in utter tears. At the time, my dad was in hospital with a serious health issue. I was having a hard time making friends and was struggling with my mental health. I was vulnerable. And who else would be there, waiting for me, anticipating that this would happen, in his words, other than Mr. Kenny, St Leonard's unofficial Superman. It was then for the first time in my life, I realised I had been truly vulnerable. This started a chain reaction where, over time, I, as well as my peers, for reasons of their own, were slowly able to open up to more people within the St Leonard's community, in turn creating lifelong relationships. It is this exact quality, being vulnerable, that I think will define our class of 2023. As I'm sure you'll see tonight, our cohort is littered with academic, sporting and artistic success. But in 5, 10, 20 years' time, when people talk of the class of 2023, I don't think that's what they will talk of. Instead, they will talk of a collective of people, students, friends, who are open in their vulnerabilities and took a risk in opening their true self to the world. As a result, growing as human beings and a cohort. So, where does this leave us? In my mind, back to that stuffy Kevin Wood Centre on the first day of Year 7. Mr. Davis, as unfathomable as it seemed at the time, had got it right. I am standing here tonight with nothing but love for the class of 2023. So, to my mates, my family, to the class of 2023, I love you. Thank you very much.